Good morning, everybody. It's January 13th. It's Friday the 13th. I'm feeling that as I'm trying to gather together all of my materials and all the stuff to show you. And I'm just feeling like Friday the 13th is kind of like setting me off and causing problems. And I don't know how this is going to work or not. I hope I can remember everything I want to tell you, show everything I want to show you. But I'll start out first. For those who don't know me, I am Colette, the Highway Stitcher. I'm here to give you my stitching from the highway and at home. I've been home most of the time, though I will be doing some traveling coming soon. It is like, oh my goodness, I didn't check totally. It is late in the morning. I know it was like about 36, 37 degrees when I checked last, which is 2 degrees Celsius. And I think we're supposed to go to a high of 42, 5 degrees Celsius. So we're definitely in winter. But it's a new year and new challenges for all of us who stitch, otherwise too, all of us who are trying to set up some goals. And so I'm pretty excited about my new challenges, new goals this year for my stitching. I did mention them in my plans in December. Again, I'll try to retell you what I'm doing for those who might be joining the first time. If I forget things, that's the way it is because it's Friday the 13th. Some housekeeping. I don't know if it's housekeeping or if it's just trying to remember this stuff before I go on and totally forget it. But the big thing is I happened to look at my calendar for my Floss Tube videos because I was just curious. And 3 years ago on January 26th is when I started my first Floss Tube. And I knew it was in January sometime, but last year I just kind of just went, sometime in January. This time I'm going to try to plan ahead a little bit. So since it's about 2 weeks before my Floss Tube anniversary, and since it's 3 years, I'm first going to tell you guys all of this first. So for those who want to move on to something else but want to try for a giveaway, just stay for the next few minutes. And I've got some giveaways to give you for my 3-year anniversary in Floss Tube. I'm, again, like last year for my 2 years, I kind of varied what I had for a giveaway. And that's because, as you know, I'm an eclectic stitcher. I like all kinds of stitching. And so because of that, I looked through and thought, well, these 3 things should be good choices. And those of you who want to can try for all 3. Those who know that it would be difficult to ship something or for them to get something can just try for the 1, which will be a gift, from an online store. So whatever you feel so inclined to do, go ahead and go for it. I did not think of my names yet, my words to put in my comments. Here, I better get my pen out. There's always so many things to remember. And I'm going to put down what each one is. And then I'm going to tell you it, and then I'll just try to think of a, like word or something like that. That'll go with it. So, okay, the first thing I'm going to do, which is easy and simple, is I'm going to give away a gift certificate for 123 Stitch. Most of you know that online store. It's great, and I love it. And they have discounts on patterns on fabric, floss, and you can usually find almost anything that you'd ever need there. So I think for that, now I'll just put online. So for the first giveaway, just put in your comments online, ONLINE. That's easy. And if that's what you want, put online in your comments below. Okay, the second one will be a Hands Across the Sea chart. I do what a lot of other people do, unfortunately, but not as bad because I do have lists of the patterns I already have and stuff. So I've only done this occasionally. And in this case, it was an occasional mistake. I was at the attic and I picked up another copy of Jane Hopkins, 1875. Shows you how much I love this pattern. And so I want to give away this pattern. And, you know, Jane Hopkins just sure is beautiful with all those flowers in that vase. So anyway, if any of you are interested in this, just put in your comments flowers. We'll just do that, and that's easy. So I'll put that down so I remember. Okay, the third one is for those of you who like something kind of unicornish or just like dimensions kits in general. And I found an extra copy of this kit that I'm working on. Haven't worked on it for a while, but I will pick it up. I will try to pick it up and work on it more. I've been doing my stocking, dimensions kit stocking kind of more. But, speaking of more, that's probably what I should do for the name for this. The comment that you need to write down. This is Lost No More. It's that beautiful kit with Jesus and the sheep. And so if any of you are interested in this kit, it's got the full floss, fabric, everything. So you can decide what you want to do with it. It's got the pattern, of course, but I mean, I'm just showing you the floss and the fabric. So whatever you want to do to use for it, you know, go ahead, use all of it, use none of it. And the word will be more. So, because I was using more for all my comments about it all the way up till now. So if you're interested in this gold collection kit, put more in your comments below, and I'll write that one down too. And I'll give you a couple weeks. I'm going to be up at the River House in a couple weeks, and I'm going to try to do a fast video from there. I'm going to bring my stuff, and it probably, you know, it won't be exactly the same because of the fact that I may not have everything with me. I may not be able to show everything, but I'm definitely going to pick the winners on that floss tube 2 weeks from now. So be aware of that. So please put your comments down before, well, let's see. Let me look at the calendar here. Like I said, I'm really on the ball. I'm going to try to do my floss tube on the 27th of January from the River House. Won't be able to be outside. It's pouring down rain there, and will probably be pouring down rain the whole time we're there. So you won't be able to see the river, but I'll just do it from the house inside. So I'll be doing a video that day, and so please have your comments. Flowers for the Hands Across the Sea, the Dimensions Kit, more 1, 2, 3 stitch online. So that's it for that. Was kind of excited. I was all surprised about what, you know, about my anniversary. And that's because I started in January because I knew January I had time, but I always forget it in January because I just kind of, you know, enjoy myself in January. It's always peaceful and kind of calm, and so then I forget about the anniversary. Another piece of another comment I want to mention too is near the end, I'm hoping to remember to show you what I will be doing for my full coverage February challenge to myself, and tell you all of what it will entail, and show you the pictures of the patterns that I will be doing then. So anyway, I know more things are going to come up, and probably come up out of order as I try to remember everything to tell you. But that's life, guys. So anyway, let's go on to whips. And I've got these in order this time because when I looked through my calendar, which is this new one I'm using right now, because it has a Lacemaker on the front, my book of days. And when I was looking in it, I almost forgot that I needed to look at my old book of days, which looks pretty tattered, but that's good. That means I was using it, because my last floss tube was actually the 30th of December. So because of that, I looked at my last year's book of days and realized that I needed to show you some stuff I participated in. And this, many of you know about on Instagram, for New Year's Eve, which the next day after I made the video, I participated in the New Year's Eve 12 by 12 challenge that is put on, or is hosted, by Kia B and Pam of Just Keep Stitching. And that's the kind of project or challenge or whatever else you want to call it, where you can either pick 12 new projects, work on 12 whips, you can alternate, you can only work on 1 or 2 or 6 or whatever you want to do. You can start a new start or all starts. And so they just made it all fun. And so this year it was kind of cool. I ended up being able to be online on a Zoom call with all of my friends from the Wasatch Whipsters group. So those are my Utah friends, including a few of the adopted in Wasatch Whipsters. And we were all able to Zoom all the way from about noon when the real host event started with Kia, all the way through to midnight Utah time. 2 o'clock in the morning for one of our people. So by that time she was ready to get off. So we only stayed a little bit past midnight Utah time. But in the process, what I had chosen to do for mine is I had been having so much fun with my 2 Christmas pieces, and I didn't want to stop. And I knew that when January 1st hit, that I had my other stitching plans and that I would be doing them. So I thought, okay, I am going to alternate for my 12 by 12 between my 2 Christmas projects that I have been loving so much for the month of January. So if you remember those from watching my videos before, one of them was Santa Stops Here by Brenda Gervais. And this one, on what I did, I alternated every other hour working on it. This one, I got 1 window done up there at the top and the start of the window pane around the other side. So that's pretty much what I got accomplished that evening on New Year's Eve, alternating every other hour for stitching. This is, I got this it was a exclusive kit at the time that I got at the Amana Colony's Farm Girl Retreat, I believe last year, because I know it's people can get it now regular. And the kit floss was like Weeks and DMC, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, it was DMC and Weeks. And this kit fabric was R&R Winter's Brew, 36 count. So I'm slowly making my way to getting that house done. Wanted to get that house finished before I moved on to the other stitching in there, because I knew with the other stitching I would be really enjoying it and it would just whip along for me. I like houses, but sometimes they drain me, even though I do love ones, especially with bricks, like that and everything. But sometimes I get a little burned out with them. So, but I did get, I don't have it written down how many stitches I got that evening, but I did fairly well, I think. So that was alternated in between my other Christmas stitch, which was Up on the Housetop by Teresa Kogut, Creative Whims. This is what I got done that evening, alternating on the 12 by 12. This one, I pretty much finished the rest of the red roof. I think there was 3 rows left. Oh, no. I had already done that. Sorry. X that one out. I had done all the way down through those icicles, cute icicles. So I did a lot of the brown. I worked on the window panes, those red ones around those stars, and that wreath. So I didn't want to tell you that I accomplished that much stitching because in one evening, which I wouldn't have done. Not with talking and everything with our friends. But I'm happy with that. That was fun. I got the 4 stars all completed and the window panes around them and the some of the wreath and some of the brown that was left. This is being stitched on 28 count Picture This Plus Twilight. 2 floss threads over 2 linen threads, because the other is 1 over 2 on 36 count, the Santa slip here. And What else? Oh, I'm using all of the called for threads in this, which are, I believe, let's see, they're overdyeds, which I don't have the other, but they're probably combination of weeks, maybe in Classic Colorworks. So anyway, that's what I got done on that one. So I get to put those away for a while because, you know, I tend not to be a seasonal stitcher per se, but this year I kind of ended up being one. So I think they'll be put away until next Christmas, and I'll work on them again, see what I get done. So at the stroke of midnight, guys, I did start one, even though we were kind of fading and people were getting off. I did a new start. My new start is this Bent Creek pattern called Look for the Beauty. I'm not going to take it out of the package. And this is this just is me, totally. And I loved this. I love the saying. I loved this house. I love the flowers. Love everything about this when this came out at market last year. So my little start on it is on Color and Cotton, Swiss Coffee, 32 count, Belfast. So just a little flower, but it's pretty. That's the start of Look for the Beauty. When I have some like extra off days when my other challenges and goals are finished, or and I've got some free time, I'm going to pick this up and keep working on it. Okay. Next, I'm going to pull up, I decided to do a temperature chart again. And this one I picked was the one that Sarah, Stitchin' Mommy, on Floss Tube, created this year. And it's right up my alley. It's Temp Quaker. I don't have to do any extra stitching. All I have to do is do the stitching for every day for just that temperature that day. So that's more my style, unfortunately. Also, too, sometimes, you know, I'll do a temp chart, and then I burn out for a year or something like that, and I don't want to do it. And then I get excited and want to do one again. So that's kind of me. So my year had passed, and now I'm ready to do one again. I like the Quaker motifs on that. They're fun. I like the DMC colors that were chosen. So I'm working on a temperature piece again for this year. And I'm working on it. I just kept this folded up. I didn't actually cut this to my correct size yet. So anyway, this is just folded up. This is my first week's worth of temperatures. And I'm doing this on a 40 count flax, one thread over two, one linen thread over two, one floss over two linen threads. Say that again. And I'm using the varied temperature range that Sarah gave out. She has several different temperature ranges to use. And the varied one usually works out pretty good for Utah. So as you can see, we have cold weather, cold temperatures. There's some purple and some dark blue and some light blue or medium blue actually. So that looks pretty much like Utah in January. So we'll continue and see what it ends up doing. It's been fun to work on. And little side thing, I decided I've been kind of feeling quirky this year. And last year when I was planning, I was feeling quirky. So I do these, I fill these in once a week. And the time that I fill them in is Saturday evening at 7 o'clock Utah time. And so I fill them all in when I am watching Svengoolie on MeTV. Now, I don't know how many of you know about Svengoolie, but those who do would probably be laughing, saying, what does that have to do with the Temperature Quaker chart, which it has nothing to do with it. But that's a show that I always watch, and I thought that was a good time to do my temperature chart, because it would for sure get done. Otherwise, I might put some other project in there and forget to do it or something. So It's a good time to do it. I like Svengoolie because it shows old monster movies, old scary movies like Dracula and Frankenstein and the Wolfman and all those kind of things. And I just sit there and watch it, and I do my temperature Quaker chart, which makes a whole heck of a lot of, which makes no sense whatsoever, because what does this have to do with old monster movies? But that's fine. I don't care. That's when I'm doing it. So, okay, on to, well, oh, okay. This one I got to find the picture on, because this I just pulled up to do like a few days ago. So I got to pull up the picture on Etsy so I can show it to you. I'm working on this little piece right here. Try to get rid of the glare here. It's called Winter. The more I've been working on it now, I want to keep it myself, but unfortunately I cannot. It is for an exchange. But I sure love it, so I'll probably redo it sometime for me. And this pattern is by Salt and Pepper, Emily Call on Etsy. I'll try to have the link below for you if you want to check. She has a lot of really cute small patterns that you can use for flat folds, for pillows, for all kinds of other things, depending on the size fabric you use. And I just love them. I met her at Stitch West in Salt Lake City, Utah. She lives up here, actually probably about half an hour from me or 45 minutes from me. I didn't know that. Very, very sweet person. Emily, you know, I don't know if you watch any Floss Tubes, but love your patterns, and you were very, very sweet. It was so nice to meet you. So anyway, I downloaded this pattern to work for my exchange, and I'm doing it on Seraphim Boston, which, let's see, this might be better in front of something. So I'm doing, oh my goodness, 36 count Boston Seraphim, which works really good because it's kind of a grayish, you know, like kind of a winterish looking fabric, which I thought worked really well for this. I'm using the Call for DMC for it. So I got the word winter done, and a start of a Christmas tree. So, and a little bit of the squiggly lines down below. Actually, this, you know, I did this in I did it like a couple hours one afternoon, and then the rest of it I did when I was doing a messenger, you know, virtual call with Sarah, stitchinmommy. And so I did actual rest of the S and the R and the Christmas tree and the little squiggly line there. So this is really whipping along fast. So I should have it done pretty fast, and then I'll just decide what kind of, you know, how I want to finish it. So, okay, what's next? Oh, if you know my plans for the year, which I've been putting them down in this mini planner book. It's called See the Beauty in Every Day. So it's a great little happy planner, perfect for me. So for the first month, I have down my plans, which here they are. I was playing around with some markers, so it's not quite all filled in or whatever, but just goofing around. So that has to do, that's Brenda Hamrick Maniac's fault, because she got me into another planner and got me into doing markers and things like that. So, so Brenda, thank you. Anyway, I am doing pretty much a fantastic full coverage year. I'm going to work on a lot of full coverage this year. And the last 3 days, I mean, not the last, it's hard to explain this. I'll have to explain it again. On the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of every day, I mean, every week of the month, I am doing a full coverage. Now, depending on what I want to accomplish that month, I choose the full coverage that I want to work on. So it's always Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, I always work on my stocking, because we always have, it's the Sunday stocking sal that I work on with Amy of Amy Loves Toads. So as you can see, that's always down there on Sunday. On Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday of each week of the month, it's a little different. And that's why I'm showing it right now, because as I go into the projects I've been working on, you will understand it a little better. So the first week of the month, I always work on my Sunnyside sampler sal. And that's what I worked on. I work on it until I get it done. Depending on how many stitches are in it, it might take the full 3 days, it might not. If it doesn't, then I'll move on and stitch a little on winter, you know, or I'll just move on and stitch a little bit on my next piece that I want to make sure I get done on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So anyway, Sunnyside Sampler is Drawn Threads pattern. This pattern was the one that we chose as a group to like work on. Actually, I think it was chosen at StitchCon. Yeah, it was. But anyway, so many things to remember. But we kind of started this up about 3 years ago. Brenda, Kim, me, I don't remember who else. But anyway, we wanted to do a stitch along, and they decided that they wanted to start the stitch along at Stitch West, which is held in October every year by Snug Harbor Crafts. So that was kind of our plan, and that's what we did. And now we're into our 3rd year, I think. Hit me over the head if I'm wrong on that. Anyway, Brenda, I can't remember. So many things to remember for this Floss Tube this time. Anyway, I know we did one because we did My Home in the Garden and finished it. And we showed it off at Stitch West. So that's our plan every year. We've asked more, you know, we've told people, oh, everybody join us. It'd be so much fun to have like tons of people standing up front there, all ringing the bell tons of times or whatever, saying, I finished Sunnyside Sampler in October like I was supposed to. So because of this, this has 2 hashtags. So if you want to join us, feel free. The one hashtag is Sunnyside Sampler Sal, which is quite, you know, given on what it is. The other hashtag is October to October Sal, but it is shortened to OCT, TO, OCT Sal, because that's what this sal is. It's an October to October sal. So this month, it's sectioned off. I sectioned it off I sectioned off at the last year so everybody could have a section to work on, so they could hopefully get it done by the end of the year, by October for Stitch West. I'm so used to sals that go to January to the end of December that I'm always saying that by mistake. Our section this month was that pretty house with the brown roof, the red door, window panes, the flower in the pot. This is being stitched on a 32 count vintage country mocha. I'm doing 2 threads, 2 floss threads over 2 linen threads with the called for threads, silk threads, which is some of them are MPIs and then some of them are dinky dyes. And I do have, let me see if I've got it down here. I think, yeah, I think I mentioned everything to you that I need to mention, but I did have a question that if you're going to answer below anyway and try to get one of the giveaways, let me know what you think. So I'm going to put this a little closer. When I was done stitching the window panes in that pretty, I don't know, kind of a brick red, I realized that I really loved the color underneath without stitching the called for thread in those windows. So I left it with the vintage country mocha color coming from behind and not stitched, as you can see. They are not stitched. It's just that color vintage country mocha coming from the fabric through those windows. And I thought it looked really pretty, especially with the dark brown roof and the brick, you know, color of the window panes and door and everything. So, if you think about it, answer, what do you think? Do you think it looks too recessed? I mean, that I should put the color in? And I tried a couple different colors to kind of match it, but none of them really looked like what I liked. So just let me know what you think in the comments below, because I just like it the way it is. I think it's really pretty that way. So, but if enough people say, oh, I noticed that's not stitched, oh, you know, then let me know. I'm being kind of crazy today. Excuse me. Going blah, blah, blah. Okay. What's next? So that was Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of the first week of January. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the second week are the other sal that I do. And both of these are always done, and so that's why they are positioned into my goals for the year, because I love working on them. I am working on them, and I am finishing them. So my second one is, excuse the plastic, but I don't want to take it out. This is My Day Complete by Kathy Barrick. I am stitching this with my good friend Krista Grammer. Our birthdays are October 29th. So every year for the past 3 years, we have stitched, 4 years, I think maybe now. We did the sampler, the big sampler. Then we did, yeah, this is our 4th year. We did a big sampler that was a unicorn piece at the time that I can't remember now. Sorry, Krista. Then we did the birds, the singing birds, drawn thread, and then we did piece band sampler this last year. So yes, this is our 4th year of doing our birthday sal. Anyway, we both we get together and we both decide what we like together, and we both love this pattern. So I sectioned this off. Thanks, Krista, for, you know, keeping me on task. That's a good way to keep me on task. So I sectioned this off so I would have it done by next October, because our birthday is October 29th. And the hashtag for this, if you want to join with a Kathy Barrick or anything else, feel free to do it, is OCT29Sal. And so I have to get this one done around the same time as Stitch West, because for the Sunnyside sampler sal. So that's why I section these off and keep going on them for my goals during the month. This is also stitched on Boston, Seraphim Boston, 36 count. And the part that I worked on was the rest of those leaves and that trunk. Oh, and that little cute quilt star. And I did not put the letters up there. I'm toying with the idea of doing what Krista's doing, and I'm going to take out these letters here, and I'm going to put in letters of, I'm going to put in initials of friends of mine that stitch and that are dear to me, as well as my partner for my birthday, Krista. So anyway, that's what got accomplished this month. I am on task. So, I'm using the DMC for this, and I'm actually, for 36, I like a more vibrant look. I'm not into, the prim is fine sometimes, but a lot of times I just like more coverage. So this is 2 floss threads over 2 linen threads on 36 count with DMC on the Boston Seraphim. So that's the second week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The first week on Thursday, Friday, Saturday for my fabulous full coverage year is Winter Montage. And the reason why that was chosen, and it will be worked on twice this month, is because it is a seasonal piece and I want to get a significant amount of stitching done on it before I move on to some other choices. Winter Montage is a Paine-free crafts pattern. It's full coverage. Though there are Janlin kits out there that you can do that aren't full coverage of this same pattern if you want to do something that'll work up a little faster. Janet Stever, that's right, I want to mention Janet Stever is the actual designer of this, and it's a Paine-free crafts pattern. I'm stitching it. I didn't take it out of the Q-snaps, this one. I'm stitching it on a 25 count, and I'm going to put something behind it because it is showing through. I'm stitching it on a 25 count even weave moss, 1/1 full cross, and what else? Oh, last year when I started this, I was not happy. I kept changing out my fabric, my even weave fabric, because I have a lot of different colors. And I finally settled on this moss green, which I'm really happy with, and I'm using it for all four all four season montages. But because of that, I didn't get a whole lot done on last year, and I didn't have a chance to go back and work on it during the winter months. So only 200 plus stitches were done on this. So I'm pretty happy. This time for the 3 days, I got 1,427 stitches. So it's quite a change from what it looked like before. I started up 1, 2, 3, and partial of the leaves, the outlining around them, some of the fill-in, and also some of the fill-in of that pretty colored browns and creams, ecru's that are along the side of the leaves. And then the outside border there is that light kind of cream off-white border, which now that I'm filling things in some, I think that looks nice with the moss green 25 count. So anyway, that's what I did the first week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I'm pretty happy with that. That's really a good amount for me, especially, when I have other, I'm doing other things too, not just stitching. And so that's pretty good for a full coverage, getting that much done. Okay, that's winter montage. The next one here, I guess I must have stuck this one down first. So I'm not going to go to my second. Not going to go to my second full coverage. I am going to go. Excuse me, I need to turn this off. The Wasatch Whipsters are doing a lot of texting back and forth, and I don't even know what it's all about, but anyway, I can't look at it right now while I'm doing my video. I'm going to show you my Sunday stocking stitching first, which I've been doing every Sunday and will continue to do. This is a Dimensions Gold kit that I fell in love with called Enchanted Ornaments Stocking. And our hashtag for this is Sunday Stocking Sal. I was watching one of Amy Loves Toads Floss Tubes, and she pulled this out and said that she was going to start it. And I went, oh my, I've never started any of those darn dimension kits that I have of stockings. And so I thought, well, it's now or never. So I picked this up. It's kind of been a love-hate relationship all along. Sorry. I don't know how other people feel, but but I have made it a little easier on myself to work on it. And so I'm gradually getting it done. It's gradual, but I'm working on it. We're excited. Pam of Just Keep Stitching is joining us. She has, if you watch Pam and Steph, Pam has this really cute stocking with a lighthouse, typical, and it's just really pretty. So anyway, she joined us. But if anybody wants to join us working on a stocking, feel free. It's hashtag Sunday Stocking Sal. On this one, it's the kit fabric, which is 16 count Aida, light blue Aida, and it's the kit floss. I sewed on some fabric because mine was getting a little hard to work on because I was getting down near the edge. And as much as they say they give you enough fabric, they barely give you, as far as I'm concerned, they barely give you enough fabric. So anyway, so I sewed on the extras so I could just start working down the toe, which is what I did. That along with, I did finish all the back stitching in the cardinal bobble. So all the back stitching is done. My ugly looking white, what are they called? Stars or whatever. I'm not a big backstitch fan, and I don't know if I did them actually really correctly, but they're done. I also worked down there on some of the leaves and some of those berries. So probably just not giving myself enough credit. Actually, far away it looks pretty good. So So anyway, that's my accomplishment for this month. I didn't actually write down the stitches, but I know it's quite a few. I got quite a few done, as well as all that back stitching, which to me should garner each little stitch on back stitching should garner like 4 regular stitches as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, that's what got done for my stocking. Okay, my last piece that I worked on was the other 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday of the second week, which is a Lacemaker, which most of you are familiar with. I just started it though, actually, yeah, because today's Friday. So I just started it yesterday on Thursday. I got about 350 stitches, I think, around that. So I'm pretty much on task. You know, I'm going to work for over 1,000 on it. This again, being in the Q snaps, I'm not taking it out because I'm working on it right now. I moved over to the other side. I'm working on 25 count, even weave. I'm gritting it myself, 1/1 full cross. That's kind of my sweet spot. I moved over to the other side of the roof and the house. So I had been working over here, had finished up all the window and all of that. Actually, the Lacemaker is beginning to take shape there, but for some reason, I just really wanted to go over on the other side and start working and keep working my way from the top down in a typewriter method. So I started filling in and taking threads from that. So the 350 that you're mostly seeing is either fill in from here, from these colors, because there were quite a bit of open space there, and then of course bringing the threads down. So that's Lacemaker, and that of course is right about here, just below the whatever that's called on the roof. Anyway, as you can see, it kind of like stops right there and has a little bit out to the sides. So that's the area right now that I'm working and filling in. So those are all of my stitches for the last 2 weeks. Not sure, some will be left here and not brought up to River House when I'm up there next week. So I won't be able to show you quite as much, but I do want to pick the winners for the giveaway. So it'll be a short video, I'm sure. But some of it will be up there, so I'll be able to show you some things. Okay. The last 2 weeks of the month, on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I have a Whip-Go board. That's Jessie Marie's great idea of doing a bingo board and putting your whips on it. My Whip-Go board this month will be choosing fan favorites. And so what I did is I asked a lot of you in your comments to give me favorites of all my whips from my whip parade, which you did so graciously, and they fill up the Whip-Go board. And when I chose, oh man, I think it was 6 and 10. I don't remember exactly because I didn't write that down, but I believe it was 6 and 10 was called for Whip-Go. And my number 6 fan favorite is Eliza Bell Cox. My number 10 favorite is Panoply of Posies, Monopoly of Posies, Panoply of Posies, whatever the darn name is. But anyway, that's my second call for fan favorites. So those will be going up to the River House, or well, one of them will be, because the other one I think I'll finish in time. So let me show you what those are, because those will definitely be in my video when I make one again. Okay. Gotta find the right one here, because I've been throwing... Oh, forgot to tell you guys. This is Floss Tube 98 too. Isn't that crazy? I'm going to have my 3rd year anniversary, and I'm almost to my 100th episode. So that can be all of the celebrating too. These 3 giveaways for my almost 100 Floss Tube. So all these papers, trying to keep track of everything. That's me. I have to have some kind of itinerary agenda or something, because if I don't, I'm going to forget something. So So anyway, going and finding the right stuff, which I have now. This one, I'm going to show you Panoply of Posies first and tell you my quandary with that, which I think I already showed you this before, but this I'm kind of changing around the design, and so I want to do some design work on it, so we'll see how much of the actual stitching I get done. And I did, this is being stitched from a pattern that actually, this is the actual pattern, which doesn't really look like, you know, very much. But what attracted, I saw this at Stitchville in, I think it's called Stitchville in Minnesota. It's an LNS in Minnesota. I think it's called Stitchville. It was back in their discount pile, probably because it really doesn't look like a whole lot. But I had all these visions for this pattern, and the big DAR letters up there were what pulled me in. I belong to a lineage group called Daughters of the American Revolution, and because I have a Revolutionary War ancestor, and I had all these visions of what I could do with this pattern, kind of redesigning it, but still using the motifs in it, which I'm using a lot of the motifs. So that's why I'm in a quandary, is figuring out what I'm going to be doing with this, which may just be some design work. I'm stitching this on Vintage Country Mocha, 32 count, and I forgot to bring in the colors, but it's a range of 6 overdyes of blues and reds. So it gives it a patriotic feel. My plan is to put down in different areas of it words which are the objectives of the Daughters of the American Revolution. And their objectives are historic preservation, education, and patriotism. And so I'm going to try to figure out a way of hopefully putting those words in this and then stitching the rest of it in red, white, and blue. So it's kind of a work in progress, and I really didn't want it culled for the very first month. But I'll see what I can do. If worse comes to worse, like I mentioned, I think last floss tube, I'll just stitch around where I want to put the words and do some of the other motifs, or maybe just go down the border. So until I get some time to design. Because the plan was to do some design work before this came up on my fan favorites, and it came up and I haven't had a chance to do that. Okay, the other fan favorite is one of my samplers from Hands Across the Sea. This is Eliza Bell Cox, and love the flower work in there. I mean, the flower border is just so pretty, and that bird is so gorgeous. I probably will do some design work in here, and I'm just not a fan of all that over one, and I would be fine with it if it was verses that I liked, but the verses I'm not really jazzed with either. So I think I'm going to end up changing out that too, which is some design work. But this is a little bit easier because I don't really have to change that stuff out right now, because I already am working still on the border, because this border is just immensely big, as any of you who have either worked on this or seen it know. So that's just a little bit of the border, and I'm getting almost to the big flower in the middle. So that's a lot of border work, and a really wide border. Let me just see if I have anything written down on this. I thought I did, but I may have to go off the cuff. So I'm pretty sure this is 36. It is definitely Lakeside linen. I started it years ago for a Mania piece, and I had a lot of Lakeside linen. I still do, actually, but I'm being really really careful with my Lakeside. I don't want to use it very, very much now. This is probably an exemplar of some kind. I don't know. I don't know if it's vintage, though, because it really doesn't look too terribly vintage, but it's a Lakeside linen, 36 count. I am doing it traditional 1/2, I believe. Let me see, to give it more of a sampler look. I don't think it's just one thread, one floss thread over two linen threads. Those flowers are beautiful, and my plan for this, is to see what I can get done in the 3 days of that beautiful flower there in the middle of the top border. A lot of color changes in this, so, you know, we'll see what I get done. But that's the plan. So those are my fan favorites that'll be worked on the next 2 weeks. And also, I just might as well say the other plans too for the last 2 weeks. I'm going to be doing Lacemaker and Vintage Montage again. Then I'm going to stop Winter Montage because I should have over 2,000 some stitches in it. And I'm going to move on to picking, you know, my other full coverage patterns, February and March and on that way until I reach spring, and then I'll pull out Spring Montage for a couple times. So, and I think hopefully I covered it easily where you could understand it. I don't have any haul. I've just been keeping my cash, pretty much saving it up for my retreats coming up, hotel rooms, and buying haul at the actual retreats because they always usually have something cool. So, and I haven't had any issue with it at all. I've got so much stash anyway that I've been fine with it. Oh, I take that back. Sorry, I did buy the winter pattern, the salt and pepper winter pattern, for you know, to do this piece. So yes, I did buy that, but not buying much. So let's see what's next. Okay, I think I'll go into the this is kind of a this and that. I don't know what to call it really, but it was just very interesting to me and just wanted to comment on it. So I'm just going to call it a this and that section. There's a floss tuber. I'll link her below. Her name's Carrie in Stitches. She's one of the admins for the Daily 30 challenge group. And in her last floss tube, I was just sitting watching it. And, you know, I'm always surprised, you know, when people say, highway stitcher, blah, 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 you know, because it's like I'm going, oh my goodness, that's me, you know. But that wasn't the reason why I said, oh my goodness. I didn't say, oh my goodness, that's me, as much as I was very interested in what Carrie had to say. So it'd be great. I'm hoping Carrie sees this and watches this, because it made me think when she made this comment. The Daily 30 group has prompts that are usually 2 weeks, special prompts, you know, either they had one about hedgehogs and all about hedgehogs, or they had one about Star Wars, or they had one about, you know, just different ideas that people come up with, and they usually fill in about 2 weeks or into 3 weeks, and then they have one overlapping that's another prompt. And those are the short prompts, and you get points for those. They also have a yearly challenge, and the yearly challenge usually involves 3 or 4 pieces or whatever, and then whatever the admins, the main admin for that is Jaffe, whatever she decides to do for that yearly challenge. Carrie happened to bring up, she said, she goes, I'm not like Colette, Highway Stitcher. I tend to keep up on the weekly or short prompts better than the yearly prompts. And she says, she goes, she mentioned my name and said, I keep up on the yearly prompts. And not that anything, she wasn't mentioning there's anything wrong with keeping up with one or the other. She just mentioned it as an interesting sidelight. She said that she tends to fall off of things faster. It's easier for her to do a shorter prompt than doing a yearly challenge. So then after she said that, I gave that some thought, and I thought, well, wonder why that is with me. Because I do like a lot of the little 2 week, 3 week prompts they do, because some of them are really fun. I mean, you know, the questions they ask are fun. They're kind of fun to figure out if I can answer them and that. But I only keep up with the yearly prompts pretty much the last 2 years. I've maybe participated once or twice in the shorter ones. So I came down to a couple things when I thought about it, and they're just me, but the reasoning why I only do the yearly prompts as opposed to the others. I like to post pictures. And when you're doing daily 30, for the daily, every day, if you're keeping up on stitching 30 days, or if you're doing your yearly, if you're doing your, shorter prompts, challenges, you need to post a picture of it before so that the admins can see how many stitches you've done. And then, you post your picture afterwards. I've realized that I don't mind posting pictures up to a point, but posting pictures every day or for every short challenge is too much that I don't want to keep up with. And yet I do like challenges because it does keep me focused. So I figured out that when Carrie mentioned that, and I thought about it, yearly challenges, I can post pictures because they're generally either a monthly or even all through the year, and I just post a picture of what I started when I got my stitches done and count them. I post the final picture. It seems to be less work for me, but it's a challenge that I can keep up on and that I enjoy better than posting pictures of beginnings and endings more often. And there's nothing wrong with either way, but it made me think to myself, well, now why am I that way? Why do I always do the yearlies but never the others? So that's one of my reasons. Also, another reason is the overlapping sometimes messes with my brain. And so when I'm overlapping the shorter challenges, then I'm thinking, okay, am I finishing up the challenge for, let's say, penguins? But I'm working on to this other challenge, which is, I'm going to say teapots. I don't know. You're going to laugh at me, Carrie. But anyway, it's whatever the challenge may be. And when they're overlapping like that, along with all the tons of pictures, it's just too much for me. I step back and I go, okay, this is what I can do, and that part of it is not it. I cannot do that. So that was an interesting thinking process of deciding why I do what I do on Daily 30 Facebook. So, and that may have been no interest to anybody, but it was interesting to me to think about it. So give it some thought. The other thing that I want to remind you of, and I will again do this when I do my video in a couple weeks, is to have all of you who are full coverage lovers, since I'm really doing a full coverage year this year, to please join me. I'm hosting Full Coverage February. I'm going to have some giveaways. I'm going to have some questions. I'm going to, hopefully there'll be fun questions for you to answer because they're kind of broad scope-wise for Full Coverage Maniacs. I'm going to do it sort of my way, and then other people are going to do it other different ways. I mentioned people can, if they only have one full coverage, work on it the whole month. At the end, tell us how many thousands of stitches you got done. That's got to be pretty cool. Or if you just want to do one a day and arbitrarily pick that one, so you get through all of your full coverage that you have, if you've got a lot of them, you can do all kinds of things with it. So what I'm doing, since I'm going to be, I travel generally, well, every year. I'm traveling from the 14th, about Valentine's Day on. I go to a lace event. I do bob and lace. That's my other passion. And actually, I'm getting close to finishing my Milanese owl, so I'll probably show that to you. Well, it won't be next week because I might bring it up to the river house with me. I'm not sure. But if I have it with me, I'll show you my progress. But anyway, bob and lace is my other passion. So I am going to a conference in Costa Mesa, California, Southern California, which is a bob and lace regional conference that I go to every year and take 4 days of classes. Then after that, my sister lives in Southern California, way out in the boonies. So I always, when I'm done with that lace conference, I go out and visit her for a week and a half, and we do a sister trip. So I'll be gone for the last 2 weeks in February. I always am. But I decided the way I was going to participate is not only just always watching the hashtag and seeing the answers to the 4 questions that I'm posting for the month every week. I'm going to participate by picking a different full coverage every day for the first 12 days of February. And the reason why it's the first 12 days is not only because I'm leaving right after that and really can't participate very well after that. It's full coverage. The word full coverage is 12 letters. So here's this is just kind of written up kind of fast. I need to put it into my planner. But this is how I kind of figured out which full coverage piece I am going to work on every day up through the 12th day of February. And I'm going to show you what those 12 ones are now. So the first one, F is the first word in full coverage. That was easy. I'm going to work on the first day. And again, not a lot of stitches will probably get done on these because I'm doing a full coverage every day. But I'm shooting for 100. If I get that, great. If I get more, that's even better. And these will be pulled out also the rest of this year and gotten, at least 1,000 stitches in them. So this full coverage February that I'm doing is not a worry because I'll be pulling all these pieces out again. So F is for frogs. If you look at this is a mini piece, and I didn't enlarge it, but you can see the little frogs. F for frogs, but this is called Singing in the Rain. Fell in love with this. This is by Jody Bergsma. She has a lot of really cute patterns with frogs and everything. And Amy and me started this at StitchCon last year. So I would love to show Amy more progress on this. Maybe bring it back for StitchCon in June. So it would be nice if there was more progress on it. So anyway, it will be picked up on the first day for F and for frogs and worked on. Okay, the second day is U. I was kind of off the wall a little bit with my U. What I did with U, oh my goodness, I don't have these in order. I thought I had them in order. Come on, Colette. Oh, here we go. There we go. U is Ariadne, and I'll explain why, because there is no U in the word Ariadne, which is Rachel Anderson. Ariadne is my first full coverage that I ever attempted. Before that, I felt unable, which is a U word, unable, to do full coverage. Brenda, Handwork Maniac, sweetly taught me her method for doing full coverage and told me I could do it. And so this was my first full coverage piece. It was done pre-Pattern Keeper. It is now on Pattern Keeper, so it looks a little funky because when I first started working on it, I did a page at a time and parked. And now I'm just going all over the place, cross country, which is kind of what I love to do. So it looks a little funky right now, but still, it's my first full coverage. It's a large piece. It's 350, well, I mean, I consider it large, 350 wide by 525. And I have probably from here all the way over, about to here done on it. So I'm not actually doing her yet, but I'm pretty close to starting Ariadne herself. And so that's my reason for calling it unable, because up till then I felt I was unable to do full coverage, but now I can, and I love it. So, okay, L is, boy, I do have these. These must have all fallen. They must have all fallen on the floor and got all mixed up. So I'm gonna have to like go through them all. L is for love, and that will be my Mom and Me piece. Sarah Stitchinmommy designed this for me. This is a 50s photograph of myself with my mom, and I have such delight in this picture. I love it so much. And so this one is, to me, is love. And so that one will be worked on the third day. Okay, we have another L in full coverage. So that will be, and I threw it down here on the floor, That's what I do when I'm done. Everything just goes down there. But I don't have to show you that picture because it's winter montage. And again, I've been wanting to work on that in the month of, in winter. So I figured I'd pull it out one more time because L is for leaves, and there are leaves in the first part of winter montage. So that will be for day 4, February 4th. February 5th is C. That was fairly easy. I started this with Dizzy Stitcher and a few other people. Country Music Dragon starts with a C. Real easy to, pick that one up and understand why it is for February 5th. As I do each one of these, when I'm done with it, I'll do a floss tube and show them all to you. February 6th. Go through them again. February 6th is O, because we're started into the word coverage. And that's going to be outdoors for my Bluegrass Festival by K. Lamb Shannon. So, and I felt that was very, very indicative of outdoors. This whole group of guys are doing their jamming. So, okay. On February 7th, we're into V. I kind of feel like Jane Wooster Scott's pictures are kind of vintage looking. So I've been working on the Quilts of Cape Cod. I started it without PK. Now I'm doing it with PK. This is a Jane Wooster Scott pattern. And I want to see what else I can cross-country on this and get a look to it. When I show it, you'll see it kind of has the tree, the branches of the tree, the last time I worked on it. So I'm going to work on it this time, see what I can have show up. Okay, E is for some of you guys love this pattern. E is for Evil Queen, Story Keep Maleficent. Man, I need to work on her more. I probably will only get just a few stitches done on her because of it being, one day. But this one will be taken with me to California. And I will work on it. And the reason being is because now that I've done most of the cross country in this from Pattern Keeper, there is really only left blacks and shades of purple. And so I think it's something that will be easy for me to work on when I'm down there. So that will be a piece that I will continue to work on the last 2 weeks. Evil Queen, February 8th. February 9th is R. And you know something? I do not have R with me because it's in the other room and I'm not going to bother. So I'm not bothering to get it. It's called Spinner by the Sea. It is a Haid pattern. I'll show it to you when I do my wrap up of my full coverage stitching. And it's one of those arts pieces from Heaven and Earth, the vintage art, where it shows a spinner from way back in olden times with like a little hand spindle. It's a piece like that. So anyway, sorry I didn't bring it. It's one of the few things I forgot to actually do. Okay, February 10th is A. That was easy. Oh, forgot to tell you why Spinner by the Sea is February 9th, R. The reason why it's under R is because it's a restart. I started it and did not have enough fabric to do it on. And I really thought I did, but when I checked, I didn't, and I'd already done probably 2,000 or 3,000 stitches on it. So I just tossed the piece aside, decided I would restart it when I felt like I wanted to restart it. So that is why Spinner by the Sea is February 9th, R in the word full coverage, because it's a restart. Okay, February 10th is an easy one. A for African Woman with Peonies too. So on February 10th, I will work on this, see what I can get done. This is one that Denise, Black Ribbon Studio, showed in her floss tube, and I fell in love with it and just had to work on it. So anyway, that will be picked up and worked on February 10th. February 11th, we're getting down to the end for me. is G for gentle, and this is Hibiscus Fairy. I felt she was such a gentle soul when I started this. You know, just holding that cat and the gentleness and peace in her eyes just drew me. So this is my word for this is gentle for G for full coverage on February 11th. And then finally, I don't have to pull it out because you've seen the picture tons. February 12th is E for enjoyment, last word in full coverage, and that's Lacemaker because it's given me a lot of enjoyment the last year and will continue to do that. And I will bring that with me down to California and work on that and Evil Queen for my last 2 weeks, just whenever I get a chance. So that's how I'm working my full coverage February. I'm excited to see what other people are doing. The hashtag is full coverage February. And please, please, if you're so inclined or have a chance or whatever, post your pictures of what you want to work on or what you're going to be doing. It'll be exciting, and you know, I'm looking forward to it, even though I can't participate totally in it like I would love to. I'm looking forward to when I can participate in it and what I can do. So that's what I had to mention too, for sure, because otherwise I wouldn't get it talked about again, and I do. I want to talk about it a lot. I want people to participate in it, and I hope that they do. So, okay, my last thing, this has gone on long enough, lots to cover, is my gratitude journal. So, let me get some water so I can even talk and read to you what I just decided to pick this time. And I decided to pick Friday the 13th, January. Because that's what today is, and it's Friday the 13th. And not that I think that's bad luck or anything, but I just thought it'd be fun to pick that one. So this one is by Arthur Ashe. If any of you remember, he was the tennis great, and he passed away. And, oh my goodness, brain. I think he passed away of AIDS. Those of you probably know better than I do, of a blood transfusion, maybe. But anyway, he was a great tennis player. And he had this quote. And it says, start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. So I thought that was a great quote. Start wherever you are, use what you have, and do what you can. So that's what I encourage you all to do. And be grateful. Remember the beauty out there. There's tons of beauty out there. And take it in, enjoy it. And I hope to see you. I will for sure see you in a couple weeks to at least do the giveaways and show you whatever I managed to bring with me up to the River House. So anyway, all you guys take care. Have a great 2 weeks. Love you lots, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.